Well, morning all, and you can probably suspect by the fact that I've got a bigger grin on my face than normal that it's mod day for Resi the Moho. It is. She got through her MOT, so she's had a couple of early birthday Christmas presents, call it what you want. Today it is, well, it's definitely a dream mod today. It's HY4 levelling, hydraulic levelling system. That we are installing on the van today. Super excited to get this done. Been looking at possibilities for years, and the time has come for HY4 levelling. It's an Alko product, as some of you I'm sure will know. They initially made it only for Mercedes and or Alko chassis, but they've now developed the product because of its popularity, and they've now adapted it so that it fits Peugeot, Citroën, Fiat Ducato chassis and non-Alko chassis as well. So obviously this van, a 2021 Mobilvetta A Class, is on a Fiat Ducato chassis, not an Alko chassis, and today it's HY4. And of course you know where I'm going to be, don't you? A&eleisure in Northwich in Cheshire. Good friends of the channel, and so grateful to them for allowing us, well, for first of all fitting the VB semi-air that we had done almost a couple of years ago now on the van, but also for the opportunities they've given Nikki and I on the channel to get in and around a lot of different installations on other vehicles from the VB suspension product range and or EP levelling range. And so another big thank you to them for allowing us to film today's HY4 installation on our own motorhome, and for their ongoing support in allowing us to get in and around the workshop, to probably annoy the hell out of Aaron, who's the main installation engineer here at A&eleisure. But of course, if you want to know anything more about HY4, about EP levelling for your motorhome, your camper van, your caravan, and indeed many other modifications that you perhaps are thinking of doing, then do contact A&eleisure. The team here, James, Nathan and a number of other team members here at A&eleisure will answer any questions you have about, be it HY4 levelling or be it any of the other VB suspension systems or self-levelling systems that you've seen us film on the channel, be it from a T6 up to a full tag axle 9-metre motorhome. So do give them a shout, or of course if you've got any questions about today's installation, then stick them in the comments below. Love to field your questions, and if I don't know the answer, then of course somebody here at A&eleisure will do. Anyway, enough of that, let's get in the garage and see what Aaron is about to do to our van. It's not often you see your own van being driven. Hopefully not for the wrong reasons, of course, but in it comes. Aaron's one of the few people that is trusted to move our van about, bless him. So it's a couple of years since she was on these ramps, but it's great to be back here once again, seeing our own van disappear up into the roof and get set for her HY4 installation. A good day. Well, it's been a while since we've seen the underside of it. It's looking a bit less shiny than it was when we were last up on this ramp, when it was only about 6 months old, I guess. But touch wood, wherever some wood is, she's still running well and got her new cross climates on at the front, for which I had to sell a kidney, of course, to get cross climates on there, but we are now Alpine ready at the front. There we go, and in comes the box full of goodies for the HY4. while Aaron's just unloading that, I'll just, for those of you who are new to the channel and have not come by this part of Cheshire before, this is A&eleisure. See their sign up there. We've really enjoyed coming here over the last couple of years and filming a number of installations after we first had our VB semi-air fitted on our own van. And A&eleisure here do a stack of different types of work on caravans, on camper vans, on motorhomes, and basically anything in between, from air conditioning systems to suspension systems to modifications to habitation checks, you name it basically, self-leveling systems obviously, you name it, they do it here. So if there's anything in relation to modifications or changes to your vehicle that you want quotations for your caravan or motorhome or vans, then as you can see, it's a pretty extensive setup here. They've got a number of the units here which they work out of and have different aspects of the work that goes on here. And of course, finally, they've also got in there a large shop area, a lot of awnings. You see some awnings set up outside, but they've got a lot of bits and bobs in their shop, an absolute goldmine of bits and pieces for you to come and browse through if you're waiting for your van to have work done on it. James, Nathan and the team here will be happy to, and I know, to quote you for any work that you need doing, and of course give you any advice on the best ways to go if it's suspension you're thinking about or other modifications to your vehicle. So that's A&eleisure, Northwich in Cheshire. Another lovely big tag axle just come in there. So back into the garage. And more goodies being unloaded. As I mentioned, or I've mentioned before on the channel, the HY4 system, which is really a sort of competitor, or you could almost say, for the EMP levelling system. EMP are actually, or the brand EP is actually also owned by Alko, who made the HY4 system, and it was made initially obviously for Alko chassis, but now they've extended it out to be fitted to X250, X290 Fiat Ducatos, to Citroens, to Peugeots, and they don't have to now be Alko chassis. So basically ours isn't an Alko chassis, and therefore the kit that they've now adapted is part of what you're seeing now, and this allows the HY4 system to now be fitted onto non-Alko vehicles. You can see obviously our old, get some light in here, our almost 2-year-old VB semi-air system in here, which has been absolutely brilliant, loved it. Some great functionality in semi-air, and if you wanted to know more obviously about semi-air, then just have a search on our channel which shows the full installation of that when it was done, and when it was a lot cleaner and less minging than it is now. But obviously today you'll see this this new fixing system that HY4 developed to enable the levelling system to go onto this Fiat-based non-Alko chassis. So apart from therefore the bracket, which this bracket sits right up here, then in all of these cardboard boxes, you've got each of the individual legs. Now, for those of you who've perhaps watched the EMP levelling kit film on our channel, you'll know that that's obviously one central hydraulic fluid reservoir, so that each of the hydraulic legs of an EMP system are piped back to the central hydraulic reservoir and its control centrally, which of course entails a lot of runs of hydraulic cable and some fittings to be done. Obviously all the system there, which is a way they make up all the individual hydraulic pipes, cut to the length that's required to go along the van and back to a sort of central point. Whereas HY4, which is now available for, as I say, for mine and a number of other non-Alko vehicles, has obviously got 4 individual miniature hydraulic pumps, so it means that you've got a lot less hydraulic cabling. They're all preset anyway, so in terms of installation it's a quicker and a more efficient installation. And just to give you some of the other sort of highlights of the system as well, it obviously adds weight to the vehicle, of course, because you've got the 4 little hydraulic motors, you've got the assembly that Aaron's moving there, so you're looking at least an increase of 70 kilos in terms of your overall weight of the system. But of course, being a much more self-contained system, the 4 individual pumps, it means you can therefore move it from one vehicle to another. So if we were to sell on and change the vehicle, which I've no thought of doing at all at the moment, because we've got it into such a place that now it's the perfect vehicle, but if we ever did move or wanted to move, then you can just take it off one and move it to another vehicle. The difference between this and the E&P leveling, this HY4 is actually, as a personal view, I think it offers more. It provides more lift, if you like. So a lift of, say, an E&P system a ram on an E&P system would give you around about 190 mil lift, whereas the full stroke lift of each of the HY4 hydraulic systems is 360 mil. So I mean, it's it's almost double the lift that the E&P rams, hydraulic rams, give you, and therefore that was one of my considerations. Another really nice feature, which is an optional feature on this, which we are adding, is its app control, but the app control on your phone, as well as of course a remote control in the van, but the app control also has a self-weigh function, so which I'll show you as we go through the film, or certainly at the end I'll show you how it works. But basically the vehicle will sit down, you'll hit the self-weigh function, it will lift the vehicle up, and then it will provide you with a weight for the front axle, the load that is on the front axle, on the rear axle, and then it will give you an overall weight of the whole van in its current state. Now that obviously, you'll know that if you've seen the weighbridge films that I did and the payload films, you'll see that payload is a key thing, because obviously if you get it wrong, then and we're unfortunate enough to have a mishap, then you're potentially not insured and you're overweight. So to know your payload and to know your limits and know the weights of your van is a really key part of, I think, of acquiring a motorhome, but also of course of continuing to drive a motorhome, to know where you're at weight wise. So this will actually give those front rear axle and an overall weight. So once we're all loaded up, for example, we can literally press the self-weigh function, it will lift the van off the ground, then go into self-weigh mode and give us those 3 readouts. So it's like a reassurance that we're obviously within tolerance, hopefully, when we put it down on the ground after we've installed this. Hopefully it stays within its 4.4 tonne maximum limit. But that was a great bit of functionality that I really liked about the HY4 as opposed to the E&P levelling system. It takes about a minute. The manufacturers would say it takes about a minute for it to work from once you press level to lifting the van up. But obviously it's a bit like the suspension systems, I guess. It's got other functionality, be that for changing the angle of the vehicle to empty tanks. It's got a security feature, of course, that if the van's off the ground, it's a lot harder to nick if the wheels are lifted off the ground. It, of course, provides, a lot of you motorhome owners and van owners will know that once you're parked up on site, if you're up on ramps or whatever it may be, if you're moving around at night, then or in the day, then obviously you get a lot of movement to the van because of its own suspension, whereas because this is lifted off the ground, you get a lot more stability then in the van. Once you're parked up and lifted and levelled, then this gives a lot more stability, so that something or someone moving around at the back end of the van won't really affect anything going on at the front of the van, as it were. So just that little bit more stability. So a lot of other functions basically than just the levelling feature, which is just fantastic to have in itself. The manufacturers as well, talking about the self-weigh function, they will say that it's within 3% accuracy once it's weighed your vehicle. Now, those of you that know payload and or tolerances will know that that in terms of the legislation around weighing of vehicles, there's about a 5% tolerance, plus or minus, in terms of the legal requirements of you getting up near your maximum weight allowance. So ours is 4.4 tonne, but the legislation has written into it a sort of plus or minus 5%. So the fact that the manufacturer would say that it is accurate to within 3% is obviously another good feature, because it means that you will know that you will be, assuming it's the right numbers when it comes up, you'll be within the tolerance that the law would allow you for travelling when you're all loaded up and you check your payload and your axle weights. There is, though, a serious lot of boxes under here, and somehow, as they always seem to do here in A&E, it will all disappear up onto the underside of the van, and all I'll be left with in the cab will be a small remote control unit, or indeed an app on my phone. So on the front end, these are the brackets that will hold the individual hydraulic rams. They get offered up to the chassis here, and you can see a little bit of black paint here. Aaron has just offered the bracket up, spray painted in the areas where the holes are going to go and need to be drilled to fix it onto the existing chassis. There's the first holes going in. So there's the first holder for the HY4 hydraulic ram. That's in place. And see these piece of steel which has got a nut welded to the end, and that's what allows you to get into these tight little holes. They supply it welded to one of these so that you can fiddle it around and get these nuts actually fitted. Otherwise you need some very weird shaped fingers to be able to do it. So that's the near side in. The bolts are torqued up and marked. So here's a first look at the individual hydraulic fluid reservoir, and then the cabling, and then straight into the hydraulic ram that will fit in those holders that Aaron's just put on. So a much more self-contained and sort of smaller unit than the EP that we saw installed here. So they're just lifting, Gary and Aaron just lifting the support into place that gets bolted to the underside of the chassis. So that's the support system offered up to the underside of the chassis. See the hydraulic legs just drop right in there. It gets a further bracket that fits on from the framework across into the chassis as well for further bracing and further support. So that'll be the next job at the back here for Gary. So Aaron is just drilling some extra holes now. You can see the ram there, and then there's the little motor assembly that works with the front near side ram. So it's just drilling the points where that fluid reservoir will be fitted. All of those little reservoirs will be in obviously close proximity to the rams themselves. So it's very cleverly fitted in, drilled in on the chassis there, and then it just, if I stand back a bit, you can see it just sits really well up in that space there. Hole drill there. There's a little steel, just see it here, a little steel tab that comes through there and obviously supports it this side. So very clever design that. It's obviously a maintenance-free unit, so you don't need to top up the oil or anything like that periodically, nothing like that. Completely maintenance-free, which is another thing that attracted me to the HY4 system. Gary at the back here has just been getting the preparing the holes here, making sure that, because obviously they're pre-positioned holes that exist on the chassis from new, so we're just on 3 years now, so he's just making sure these threads are degunked of any muck and whatever that's gathered in there, making sure the threads are all nice and clear before he goes in with the extra supporting brackets. And then, as you can see, rams will fit here, and then some of the mounting brackets for the little hydraulic reservoirs obviously fit on there. So you can see it's a fantastically neat one bracket fits all system. Really good fit, great design, and a good adaptation from the Alko chassis that this HY4 was originally made. And on the bottom of each of those hydraulic legs will go one of these. Those will be the feet that support the van. That's just the first of the feet going on there. And the offside is now in position, and again you see the way it's just tucked away and designed to fit into these small voids that exist on the chassis anyway, but really, again, really good use of the space. You can see what I mean by a sort of really neat installation that the HY4 is. And you can see as well the quite sort of compact nature in that if you look at the back axle, back where Aaron is, and then the line of the foot, it actually doesn't obviously bring the lower level of the van down anymore. In fact, you can see that the base of that lines up really well with the back axle if I line the camera up there. So on the ram that's going onto the rear near side here, you can see there's like a split pin on each of these rams, all four of them. There's a split pin here, and these grooves, you can set it. There's another groove up above here out of sight now. So we're set on the middle one, and that allows you to position the fully retracted height on the van at 3 different level choices depending on which van you've got. And you can see you can start to see now how well this framework that fits on the chassis under there, how well it takes the kit with the second hydraulic reservoir fitting there, then the ram. So a really tidy setup. There we go, there's the second hydraulic reservoir on. And there you go, you can see how that effect now and the way that bar works to house all of the jacks and the small hydraulic reservoirs, which incidentally they're only about 0.7 of a litre of hydraulic fluid in each one of those, so they're pretty small really. And then these stickers have to be applied as well when they're installed. They come with a travel cap a bit like that one, and then it gets replaced with a venting cap like that, but then these stickers have to be applied by the workshop as a non-tamper sticker. In fact, it would void the warranty if these are torn or removed. But so it's another point just to make that they are a zero maintenance setup, the whole of the HY4 system. So there we go. That's the offside and near side rams in. That's the hydraulic reservoirs in and fitted. They obviously get covers and that over these to protect these components once these wiring has all been done. And talking of wiring, look at that lot of spaghetti. That's what is being fitted up there. So the box there has to go a specific way round in terms of where the front and the rear of the vehicle is. Because of each set of wires going into there corresponds to front offside near side and rear offside near side respectively. You can just see up at the top of the box there's the much thicker cable. That's obviously the battery connection, which disappears off up the front here and will go up into the into the battery box through that well-known route up through here into the battery box, where previous cables have gone that we've had done. In fact, semi-air one going up through there, and some of the Victron stuff as well. The trickle charge back from hab battery back to engine battery, that comes through on a similarly sized cable as well. So that will get its power, take its power from the battery back to the box that Aaron's fitting at the moment here. So whereas on the EP film, a lot in amongst a lot of this would of course have been all the hydraulic cables that then went back, and in the middle of the van of that EP installation, which we did a film of, there would have been a big central reservoir of hydraulic fluid, which then got taken in a labyrinth of pipework. Then here obviously you just have the electronic loom that therefore connects everything back to what ultimately is the remote control up in the cab of the vehicle. There we go, there's a closer look at it. There's the battery feed, and this one, which Aaron's just drilled up through there, put the gland on there, that is utilising a plug there, which is the optional self-weigh function that I talked about earlier with the van, the ability for the system to weigh the van. So that's just getting the preparation in for that addition. So there's the covers now going on. So the wiring is soldered in. If I can just get you around the back here. There we go, so you got the wirings all starting to tidy up all the wiring, starting to cable clip it all up in there. But then obviously the covers there are to protect it from debris or road debris coming up this face of it. And then of course, as you'll know well from our visits to A&E here, the conduiting that's done to protect all the cabling. In fact, there's some of the previous A&E work that when they installed the semi-air system. So once again, all these will be of course protected and conduited and cable tied up into the underside of the vehicle. So going well, installation is going well. And there we go, so that's the hydraulic cabling, it's the electric cabling, all going into that conduit, so it's really real belt and braces stuff. All covering all of the exposed cable work, so a real good level of protection on all those essential connections between the components of the HY4 system. So the first test before we put all the wiring away is to make sure things work. So these, as I say, they're telescopic rams, so you've got the first level and then the second phase comes out, if you like, the telescopic bit, which gives that 360mm of stroke length overall. So they obviously work in pairs, so you can just see the telescopic bit now starting there. So you can obviously have the two front ones coming down, you can have the two rear ones coming down. Aaron's obviously just testing the front at the moment, but you can also then get just the two near side ones to work simultaneously, or the two off sides. So it always works in pairs. Ignition of the van has to be off for the system to work, and there you can see the rear now working as a pair, and still a wealth of spaghetti to finally wire up and tidy up. But those bits of the job don't take too long once they get going. And obviously these wires aren't going to be cut to the exact lengths required, because as you remember at the beginning of the film I mentioned that if you obviously move vans you can take this whole lot with you. Simply just unbolt the hydraulic reservoirs, take these off, pop these off, so it means you can take the whole thing with you, so hence they don't cut them to size. In case on that rare occasion people do move on, different size vans, different size requirements, and therefore you don't have to start rejoining or lengthening wires or buying new cable runs. So they tidy them up, coil them up, cable tie them out the way, so that you can move vans if required. Now it's the time for setting it all up. So we've measured, part of it is measuring from the front centre of the front wheel to the rear centre of the rear wheel. All that data is entered. Obviously the serial numbers of the system is entered, the weights of the front axle and rear axle. So for this Fiat Mobilvetta it's 2100 front axle and 2500 kilos rear axle. We're a total of 4,400, 4.4 tonnes maximum total permitted laden mass, and all those figures are input into the software. And the front likewise, they've got their own little box covers to protect the hydraulic reservoir and the system, and then I'm tidying up with the cable ties and the conduiting into the rams there. Really good finishing. Spotted all that little red paint there for the torqued nuts that have all been done up to strength, up to torque I should say. And so that's the weighing device that we've now programmed the front and rear axles in, the weights, and this is the little brains of the system that allows it to weigh the van. So there we go, that's the cable ties trimmed off. So we're now complete at the back here. Cable ties trimmed up. It's a really neat finish as well. It's compared with the E&P levelling, if you've watched that film on the channel, you remember this one is a sort of visually, it just seems to fit a lot better. They've obviously put a lot of thought, I guess being Alko they probably have, but put a lot of thought into how they create the adaptations necessary to take this HY4 system from generally Alko based chassis based vehicles along to non-Alko, which this is. So they've done a real good job of that, I think, of adapting the system. Down it goes with its brand squeaky new levelling system. That is one excited owner now to get my first experience of actually pulling up to a site and using the levelling. In fact, I'll probably end up going down the nearest lay-by and putting it up on levelling, with people going by wondering what on earth I'm doing. No, I won't go quite that mad, but you know what I mean. The Apple iOS app is, as you can just about see there, called 2Link, Alko 2Link, and what we're about to do therefore is this is downloaded, so we're going to get the system set up on my phone to then start testing the self-weigh functions, and we've also got to do the levelling function as well, which is of course the spirit level in the van, as you've seen on one or two of the other films where we've done VB, full air and other systems like that. We set it to a spirit level in the van itself. So it's those two systems that we're going to, or those two processes that we're going to go through now. Carpets up, get the spirit level in, and set the level. And there we have. That's the only trace of the system in the van. Aaron's just putting back together the fuses, the battery links under the floor there that bring that power cable up under the van and into the battery box. So just putting that together for the finishing touches. And you can see on the top there, that's obviously a diagrammatic layout of the van and each wheel corner, and then these are some of the self-explanatory diagram on there showing you the tank function and the sleeping presets, and then you've got the manual button to use the system manually, or the full auto mode on the left there, the retract, and the auto mode to raise the legs again, and of course the power button at the top. So pretty straightforward system from a remote control point of view. So it's just starting to set its, get it into that level position. There goes the wheels. So you can see our magic bubble there's in the middle, and then if we have a look what the van's done, the van's been setting itself, so you can see the one over on the far side there is it hasn't extended, but the ones over at the front and at the near side rear have extended, and that's enabled it to get level. So absolutely smack on. So the garage floor and or the van has got a slight tilt on it because of the way that it's lifted all three, but anyway, it's got us into smack on into the level position. Okay, so once the app is fired up, you get a and it's got its password unique to this system, which we've done. Then, as you can see, you get options to either use it as a remote control, similar obviously to the functionality of the one that's in the cab there, or of course, as you can see, you've got the weighing function here.
Got that. See, like, because obviously we've put the front max and the rear max.
Yeah, we've got our maximum.
You've got your two maxes already set.
Yeah.
And then obviously your max load is at the bottom.
Go for it.
So if you click weigh now,
yeah,
it'll tell you to check the surroundings.
Yes.
Obviously, don't want to lean too far.
Yeah.
Click that.
Okay, we can hear them starting to extend. There we go, so you can see all four wheels are off the ground.
Yeah.
And it says, it asks us to confirm that, so we've seen that it is.
Yeah, but you've got to click. You've got to tell it that.
All right, yeah.
Even though you know it is. So if, say if that one wasn't, you just click continue on that, and then it'll let you adjust again.
Yeah, got you. Excellent.
Obviously they're all up.
They're all up.
So you can just click continue on that, and then you just wait for it to.
And then you can see the progress circle is now going through its electronic wizardry, and it's way in the van. Good grief, technology. So then up it comes. It says the circle is filled up. It says it's checked, so surroundings, making sure it's clear so that I don't drop it on any small unsuspecting person, and checked. So the van goes down, you can see the circle is now finishing up. And look at that. So we've got 1580 on the front, 2294 on the back with a max of 25, max of 21 on the front. And we've got an overall 3.81 with, we know our maximum personal is 4.4, so still got 600 odd kilos of payload, and that's how, and those are obviously our axle tolerances. So we've got what, just under 600 there, and we've got about 210-ish there, so 206. So yeah, that's a really useful. I do like that. Certainly gives me a really good idea when we start to load up for our next European adventure. And then that's it in HY4 mode. So there you can see straight away that that's almost a mirror image of the remote control that we had in the van a minute ago. Well, what a birthday present that was, wasn't it? So, as minging as she is at the moment, after travelling in the rain up from Tenby, then she's definitely got a very squeaky clean new system underneath. Of course, our sincere thanks once again to A&eleisure. Not only, of course, for letting us film Resi the Moho up close and personal, having its levelling system fitted, and for allowing us access, unprecedented access, in fact, into some of these installation processes that have allowed us to just bring you a little bit more detail about some of the suspension options, be it from VB, Alko, E&P, giving you a few of more of those options that you would have if you fancied doing something like that to your caravan or motorhome. Do get in touch with the team here in the office here at A&E. Come and have a browse of the shop, but many a service available here for your caravan or motorhome, which the team here will help you with if you have any interest in the products you've seen on the channel here, or indeed of course on their website. Well, what a perfect place to give it a test, eh? Yep, you've recognised it. We're at Belmont, probably a couple of miles away from A&eleisure, and we all now know what's hiding under the van. And look at the angle of the van. We've got to give it a go, haven't we? You've got to give it a go. So, we've got a remote. Press and hold for 4 seconds. There we go, all lights up. And then we're ready to go. We've got the green lights of go. And now we should press that and you can hear it whirring away. So let's go out and have a look, see what it's up to. Let's pop this down there. Look at that, the van's already on the move. There it goes. Yep, she is lifting up at the front. Wow. Look at that. Wow. That's all you can say, really, isn't it? That has definitely given it a test. But it is level. Spot on level, and that's done one hell of a job. And from the app, let's just give it a back down test. So that's up for the, wow, down it goes again. Wow, what a couple of days that was. At last our own van having its birthday again at A&eleisure. And seems a long while since it was on the ramps there, probably nearly a couple of years ago now, where we had the VB Semi put on the back and now HY4 levelling. So absolutely delighted with that upgrade. Cost, yeah, it is that magical question. Fully fitted, full price installation of HY4 is 7.5k. We are the Thursday before the NEC Motorhome show, so another reason why I've got this film out swiftly is if you're watching it round about the 11th, 12th, 13th of October, which is just prior to the start of the Motorhome show, then the reason why I get this out quick is I know they're going to offer further discounts at the Caravan and Motorhome Club, at the Caravan and Motorhome show at the NEC. So A&eleisure will be represented on the VB suspension stand, on the E&P levelling stand on various days throughout Tuesday to Sunday. James and Nathan are down there. Go and see if you can find them on one of those stands if you're interested in the HY4 product, and of course any of the other products you might have seen us film there at A&eleisure. We're of course and continue to be grateful to them for their for allowing us access to their workshops to bring you some detail, which I know a lot of you, judging by your kind words on our channel, have enjoyed seeing some of these systems put in up close and personal. So no, it's not a cheap system. It is brings some fabulous benefits to your motorhome, your camper van, or of course your caravan, but it's very much a system which of course is at the upper end of budgets, but if you're in a position to do it, and if you're thinking of doing it, of course, then I cannot recommend highly enough A&E. They've been fantastic to not only watch them work and watch them work on our own van, but you know, that's what took us there all those months ago when we first worked, was how good they were as a customer experience, how good they were to deal with. So so give them a shout if you're thinking about that sort of installation. See what offers they've got on. Take advantage, if you can, of the offers that are on in and around the NEC show. They might even throw in accommodation at Belmont Hall if you've got to travel, and I know that they are often prepared. And indeed, I'm sure if you mentioned that you'd seen our films from here at Belmont Hall, or from A&eleisure itself, I'm sure they'd probably put you up here at Belmont Hall free of charge if you mentioned having seen our films on the channel. So give them a shout if you're thinking about it. If it's within reach, then do it. It's just an amazing system. Thanks guys, as always. It's been great having you along. Thank you to our new subscribers and to our existing and faithful subscribers. So it's great having you all along, and we'll see you again very soon on the channel and or on the road. See you guys. Safe travels and take care.